All right, should we start in earnest? We feeling awake?
Awake? What is he about to do?
Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting. Ooh. Everyone take a pass at this, because you're going to hear it that many times at least.
Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting.
Ooh. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats o'er hill and vale. All at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils.
Ooh.
I'm spooked out right now.
Yeah, so welcome to The Safe State. This is a podcast where we play a video game and talk about that podcast. I mean, we can talk about podcasts too.
Yeah, I got some podcasts I like. We can talk about those too.
I'm Arvid, and I'm joined by...
Mike.
Marcus.
Oh, hey, passed the test. Everyone knows their name. All right.
Now.
And we played Eternal Darkness, we didn't make a sequel to this one. What is it called?
SANITY'S REQUIEM.
SANITY'S Requiem. Definitely doesn't sound like my World of Warcraft guild name, circa 2004.
Well, they probably stole it from this game then.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Well, they're all like that, you know. They're like budget-sounding Castlevania subtitles. Like Harbingers of Sonata or something like that.
Ooh, Moonlit Sonata.
Yeah.
That's a Beethoven. Is that Beethoven?
It was one of those dusty old fucks. I don't know.
All right. So this is a horror game that we played?
It's a horror anthology, Arvid. Let's be accurate.
It was a cosmic horror.
It's just one game, though. It's not several games.
But
it's not like...
Is it just one game?
No, it's one game.
Oh, okay, fine. It's one game.
In fact, I would point out that like there's like
Mike played the wrong game.
I've done that before.
Despite there being like several time periods and characters you play as, they make a point of having continuity between all these things.
Yes, it loops back
ostensibly
on
not knowing
the narrative
each other.
frame. I get it. That's great. It's an
I
anthology.
mean, it's good. It's a good. I like that. I like the way that they what?
The not one view the whole time, not one character.
No, but I mean like how I mean there's that, but also I liked how they like kind of have a story reason for why, you know, even though you play as different characters, you still have the progression of the entire game. Like you progress along the game, and then even though you play as different characters, you still have more abilities than the last character.
Alex gets the powers, and then everyone else gets the powers.
Yeah, exactly. To begin, this game is, you know, a horror-ish game.
It's not a Resident
Evil
clone.
Survival horror. It's not, although it does have some things in common.
The first level will make you think that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the first screen will make you think that.
Yep.
It has tanky controls and fixed camera angles. The scariest thing from the 90s...
I had 0 fixed camera angles and no tank controls.
There's no tank controls in this. The camera angles, while they are like pseudo-fixed...
Okay, they're not entirely fixed, but they aren't maneuverable.
No, right. Yep.
Yeah.
Cinematic
so like
more.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it doesn't have tank controls, but it doesn't not have tank controls. They're tankier than...
Way less tankier than Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's true.
Like, they actually kind of proved that they didn't have to do it that way.
Yeah. But there are definitely some instances where, like, oh, those two zombies would not be a problem if it wasn't for the fact that this camera is stuck to the floor and in the middle of a hallway.
Well, that's your sanity, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, sanity is the Dutch angle system. But anyway, so you play as a character, Alex, who is exploring a mansion, and as she discovers journals that was left behind by her grandfather?
Yes. Maximilian Roivas.
Yes, she goes back in time to different characters and lives through their little story bits. And the things you learn through this will help you explore the mansion further.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's a lore reason for how it works that way as well, because as you find each new chapter and live through that character's experience with not the Necronomicon,
the Tomb of Eternal Darkness.
It kind of downloads the previous stories of those who have served it into the next host, the next chosen person, which is a cool feature because as you learn like new gameplay mechanics, at first it's like teaching you how to do puzzles that help you progress, but you start to learn runes, which then you can mix into spells. And so now every character, as you progress through, has access to those going forward. That was a really cool setup. I wasn't expecting it that way. I'd forgotten a lot of this. I played it back when it like came out for the GameCube, like the first year it came out. So it's been a long time since I've touched it.
I had never heard of this until you mentioned it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I went in blind, which was great. I think it was a great game to go in blind to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think if I knew what this was more, I probably wouldn't have picked it up because, well, like there's a lot of things about this game that are very good. And I did like the game. I'm not, but I have like really gotten bored, sick, tired of quote unquote Lovecraftian things. It's just being like, it's weird and we don't have to explain things. Isn't that scary? Yeah, exactly. And this game does that a lot. But I also think that this game may have done it before a lot of the other things that did this. Because this came out in 2002. And to me, like, the big Lovecraft explosion was probably like 3 years after that, where you start seeing it in like World of Warcraft and other things that have Lovecraft in them.
Yeah.
It predates a lot of the, Yeah,
it wasn't a tired trope at that point. Yeah,
exactly. Like, it's something that, like, that you can tell that they're drawing on Lovecraftian literature as opposed to they are not drawing on the trope of Lovecraftian characters. And
they're not just blindly using like Lovecraft. Rather, they understand it. And it's like not like a love letter to Lovecraft or anything, but it's like you can tell they appreciate.
Yeah,
because it's a Japanese game made by a Western man.
Yeah, I mean it does follow a lot of the tropes of like a Resident Evil style survival horror, like we mentioned with the combat. One thing I did like about this is the way the combat system works. You spend a lot of the time with melee weapons, which are not really a thing in Resident Evil or most survival horrors. So you don't have to, like, that constant worry about running out of ammo doesn't really exist.
I was looking into it. Apparently they specifically did not want it to be a survival horror, just because they didn't want to kind of get confused with Resident Evil. So it is like it's a horror game, but it's not the survival aspect. I mean, every game is a survival game. Don't die.
The moment you put a health bar into it, it is now a survival. Mario's a survival game, if you want to break it down.
That's true.
It's a postmodern horror story.
But yeah, it's interesting. They really emphasized the storytelling beyond everything else, but the melee combat was surprisingly fun still. And I was surprised at the way the hitbox system worked. So you have to kind of hold the trigger to poise yourself and start aiming, or whatever your button setup for it was. And then you can select the arms, the head, the torso, and you can chop them off. And it's this real...
Years before Dead Space.
Yes. And if you're crowded into a tight hallway and you try to swing, your weapon could hit the stone wall, and that's before Dark Souls was doing that shit. Like, there's a lot of good bones in this mechanically that we see, like, even now in some AAA games that I hadn't seen before that.
Yeah, that was actually one of the more terrifying parts of this was when you first get the big two-handed sword, and then you're in a hallway, and you're like, I'm going to wreck some ass, and then you hit the wall, and it goes ting, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. Yup. Did it drive you insane? Ooh.
Yeah, so the other thing that makes this game special, is that it has a sanity meter, and every time you encounter a monster, your sanity goes down. But when you kill a monster, you restore that sanity.
But you have to kill it.
That's true.
Because there are certain ones that will self-destruct and kill other ones around it, and then you're just screwed.
Yeah, and I think also if you don't, like, because you have to use the killing finisher move.
You have to.
And I think there's some if they will despawn if you don't finish them fast enough.
Yep.
So it like, unlike most survival horrors where I feel like you're processing like, okay, do I need to bother killing this guy? Can I run around it? Can I not? This game really incentivizes that combat where, like, oh, I've encountered something, I need to kill it so I can get the sanity back, which I think works well in the early game, and then the late game I think it ended up being that I liked it a little less. But to go back to the sanity meter, as your sanity meter gets lower, the most obvious thing is that the camera starts to tilt and gets a little wonky, and your vision starts to get a little blurry in some scenes. But you'll just have random things that will happen. Ow, son of a bitch.
Did you stab yourself again?
Damn knife.
This isn't happening.
All right. So things will happen, and they will not actually have happened.
Yes.
So you'll enter a room, and it'll, for a second, you'll think you're trapped in a hallway that you can't get out of, and then it'll be revealed that was a hallucination, or some really meta stuff too, where you'll get like the loading screen for the game will pop up randomly.
Before Metal Gear did it?
No.
Well, but there's an interesting connection with Metal Gear. If you look at the voice actors, a lot of them were like Metal Gear Solid and On voice actors. Like
Oh, interesting.
Like it's Solid Snake, it's Big Boss, it's all of them are the voice actors for this game.
There's one character whose voice I swore up and down was Tony J, and then until I looked him up, and he's definitely not Tony J, which is odd because I think Tony J has worked with the Silicon Knights who made this game. I think he's been in every single one of their games besides this one.
Interesting.
So maybe they just couldn't get him that day, so they got some guy to imitate him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But my favorite, not to like... There's a couple good fake outs from these hallucinations. One I think might be scripted the story where it teases a sequel. Like it fakes out the ending of a game and teases that there'll be like
Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Redemption.
Yeah, there's like a bit where after you're finishing a chapter and you go back to play as Alex, it tells you like that. That was it.
Basically, you've beaten the game. Good job.
Yeah, you're definitely not done with the game at that point.
There's another one that's like a demo. I think it says like you've reached the end of the demo.
I got that one.
I also got one that only actually makes sense. Well, at least makes more sense because I was playing it on an emulator. But I got like a Windows blue screen of death. Error message, and like that one actually got me for a second because I was like, "Oh, this is a GameCube game. They wouldn't like, they wouldn't have a PC error message." And then it popped back in, and I was like, "Oh shit, that one got me."
I was gonna say my favorite one was like when you try to cast a healing spell and you just blow up.
Oh yeah, that one. I got that one.
Like the first time that happened, I was just like,
"What did I do wrong?
The wrong ruins."
The first time I did it, I'd actually gotten the second god's sign, so I was casting under their sign, and I thought like, oh, maybe I'm not allowed to like use another god's power to heal myself.
Ancient.
I'm sorry, the ancients, the unknowable ancients that are absolutely knowable because you see their entire form, and it's anyways.
Yeah, I chose the one that looked like the little guy from Metroid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
That was mine as well.
Speaking of which, this game actually has 3 endings.
4.
4 endings. Sorry, you there's a 4th ending if you beat all 3 endings. I did not do that. I looked them up.
Yep, exactly.
Well, it's like supposed to be one of the powers of I'm gonna butcher it, Mantarok.
Mantarok, yes.
He can kind of control time.
And that's the fun thing that's fun about the 4th ending is that it actually all the other 3 endings are also canonical because they happen in concurrent timelines.
Yes. They were doing the multiverse shit before other people had worn out the multiverse idea.
I don't mean to like do but that's old as hell. Like Captain Britain invented the multiverse in the 60s.
I don't know who that is, old man.
That's my point.
Well, apparently this is one of the inspirations for this was called The Eternal Champion from the 60s. And it's just like, kind of the same idea where someone gets randomly pulled.
Michael Moorcock's book?
It is Michael Moorcock.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, right.
Where someone gets randomly pulled and told, like, oh, you're the heir to the keeping balance.
You're the avatar, I believe, is what they called them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. I wonder if that's where Captain Britain got it from too, because that was the Alan Moore Captain Britain storyline, was that he got pulled into the something.
The Museum of Britain.
Yeah, probably. It's very British in a fun way. God, what's it called? It ends up being Merlin, controls all the different universes.
Classic Merlin.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Merlin does, famously.
He's got like a hot daughter.
The only Merlin I ever really liked was the one from the Sword and the Stone cartoon. When he's a little, like, kind of senile old man.
That Merlin's fun.
Just senile old man.
If you read the books, it's based on the Once and Future King.
Oh, that's...
He's the Merlin that ages backwards.
I like
so he's a really young
Merlin that is Sam Neill from the made-for-TV
also
series.
Very good.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, the BBC 2 episode, or maybe it was ITV miniseries with Rutger Hauer and
so good.
Miranda Richardson and Isabella Rossellini and Martin Short.
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
Helena Bonham Carter. Everyone's in that fucking.
Are you
thing.
on IMDb right now? Oh, just off the
cuff?
cuff?
Lena Headey's actually in it.
This is just his
Isn't
power.
She she's Guinevere, I think.
I'm saying yes to like all of these, but I think the only names I knew were Sam Neill and Martin Short.
I think Ian McNeice is also in there somewhere. Yeah, he's like a Roman guy. Because it's like that's the other thing that's really cool about that. I could gush a great deal about that Merlin movie miniseries, but I do like how it depicts post-Roman Britain a lot. It's very fun and much better than the terrible Arthur film with Ian Griffith, Mr. Incredible himself. I don't know how to actually pronounce that. It's Welsh.
I don't know any of that. I don't know who that is.
Do you remember the Fantastic Four movies? The older ones, not the new ones?
With
the one
what's her
Chiklis
face as
and Jessica
okay,
Alba,
yeah.
And Captain America before he was Captain America. The guy who played Mr. Incredible in is who I was talking about. And I think it's spelled something impronounceable, but it's just pronounced like Ian Griffith.
It's not Hank from Breaking Bad?
No, that's...
Gonna guess if it's Welsh, but it's still pronounced Griffith. It's like Grywys somehow.
I think it's Gryuf or Gryuffud.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, what are we talking about? What podcast is this?
Oh, our
It's a
Insanity
podcast about Merlin.
Is this sanity meter, or is it just like a fucking like attention span meter?
No, I'm insane now. You guys look about 2 inches tall, and I'm just stepping all over you. That was one of my favorite sanity.
Oh, when your size.
Oh, it was so fun. It was the size of all the enemies changed, and I tried to attack them at first, and then I realized that you can just step on them, and I was just running down a hall, just crushing all the enemies. It was pretty fun.
No kidding, I didn't get that.
Because like at first in the Charlemagne chapter, like I thought that was like his deterioration was it kind of like exposing you to the sanity meter. And then at the end, I was like, oh wait, no, I'm just dying. I'm cursed.
Yeah.
That one was definitely one of the better chapters. I mean, I do have some problems with like.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
The fact that they all just called him Charlemagne before like.
Yeah.
Well, they're obviously homies. They would have just called him Charlie.
Well, Carl probably.
Charles.
But, well, it depends on if they're speaking Frankish or Latin. Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, that's the other thing is like they do a really good job of like having when you first go to each character, they'll like have a few sentences in the native language of the time, so they'll get Latin or whatever, and then it'll switch to English. But like they still do that like we are speaking like it's ye olde times for some reason, like even though it's English and it's translated, they're like, hark, yonder door has monster behind, and it's like I don't get why
Arvid, like, would you want to see like the Salem witch trials? Or no, that's a bad example because it's not.
That's a bad example.
Whatever.
No, I want like a faithful recreation of like Gladiator or what, like one of those movies, but like everyone just talks like it's fucking.
Oh, what's up, man?
Bad.
How you doing?
Are you not
Like,
entertained?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you having fun yet?
You not enjoying this shit?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's why my favorite movie of all time is A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger. Actually, no,
Interesting.
I do like that movie though.
Interesting. It's a good movie.
It's not bad, yeah.
Yeah.
One of his last ones.
No. I mean, they were all one of his last ones, weren't they?
Yeah, he had
Whoa.
he was a candle in the wind, really. Was he 27 Club?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of like 3 movies he was in, and that's one
Batman.
Not Taming of the Shrew, but the remake of it. What Arvid would like all Shakespeare to sound like.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Was that him?
That probably. Yeah, that was him.
Yeah. 28. He was 28. He was a year late to joining the club. He fucked up.
He's trying to start his own new club.
And Brokeback. He did Brokeback Mountain.
Oh yeah.
That was a good movie.
I still have never seen it. It's not like I'm against it or anything. Like,
No. Yeah. It
just never came across, and like, I'm not gonna spit her up.
I started watching it. I think I might have either fallen asleep or just walked away.
Aggressively masturbating.
It's not because you think. I just really like old trucks.
Is that like a thing in the movie? They have old trucks, and that's how they bond.
There's like half the scenes are just like a truck parked on a hill, and then you hear them talking off screen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of quiet talking.
So the appeal of the movie was just like Jake Gyllenhaal and the guy going at it.
Just 2 hot dudes going at it.
2 hot dudes in their prime.
Yep. That's it.
So, Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness.
Ooh. A fun game.
Yeah, fun game.
It gets really hard as you progress. At first, you think it's super easy.
Oh my god, especially the last bit where you're playing as Alex.
I didn't get that far, but I know what you're talking about.
I had to use a walkthrough.
Yeah.
To get every
rough.
single room. I was like looking through, using a walkthrough to get through. It was in the final boss fight. It's like,
Oh my
fucking
god.
sucks, man.
Especially when you're that
Augustus
fucking
Pius,
fat
no,
ass.
Pius Augustus.
He's so slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did like this game. There is one character you play as in the 18th century. You play as like this kind of colonial, like gentleman scholar.
Yeah.
Who sucks because he's slow and has a gun that's wicked slow. But I did appreciate the representation of fat guy with ponytail. I feel like us fat guys with ponytails aren't really represented well in video games, despite playing all of them. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah? Is that...
That was, you mean the Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Yeah,
Like, no, that guy was great. I felt, you got to feel bad for him. I mean, I guess every single character you play, other than Alex, has to die.
Has a terrible fate. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, some of them don't die. Some of them are just trapped in a
cosmic horror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this game is completely unscary, I would say.
There's no jump scares.
There's no jump scares. Even like the concepts aren't that scary.
The scariest moment was when I tried to save one time and a thing popped up saying deleting save file. And I was like, no.
That is scary. It's very scary. Because there's no autosave.
No, there isn't. And I fucked up one time real bad and had to go all the way back to Anthony and start over.
I was a keen abuser of save states.
He said the name of the podcast.
Hey, whoa, wow.
Got a drink.
Don't judge me.
No drinks. What did you guys think of the Ancients? Like, I guess, Marcus, you said you didn't get that far. Did you watch, like, a video of the final boss fight, though?
No, because I honestly intend to finish this game. But I read up on it just to, like... Because the one problem I had, and it was, like, on my end, was when you get, like, the journal entries, and you scroll through them, every time I try to scroll on the menu, it would just shoot off to another part of the menu screen.
Oh.
Like, I could scroll, like, in, like, the in-game scrolls, where you have to scroll and, like, yes, grab this item, yes, investigate. But it was just, for some reason, in the menu screen, I could not scroll to get the lore.
Weird.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, but not really. You get in a lot from the cutscenes and stuff, but
Well, that's true. This game has a ton of cutscenes. Like I looked up
Again, good voice acting for him too.
yeah.
Yeah, I looked this up. Like the long play of this game is like 7.5 hours. Just the cutscenes is two almost 3. So this
Sure.
game's almost half cutscenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, which, like I said, they're especially for the time period, they're very well done.
Yeah, I'm surprised too when I was looking into some things on it. I didn't know it was going to be an N64 game originally. And they got like the tap from Nintendo being like, hey, do you want to try out this new Project Dolphin system we're working on? And once they got their hands on that, they were like, oh no, we can do way more with this. Like that's how they were able to get all the cutscenes, because they could have never fit any of that into the N64 version.
Can you imagine how few people would have played this if it came out for the N64?
Like on the twilight of the N64, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been an end-of-life thing that required a game pack.
It would have sold it's in Japan only.
It still did horrible. Like it's a great game, but it is a critical failure. It didn't even recoup its like costs for being produced.
It's a critical failure in like a critical role failure, not in like a failure by the critics.
Apparently,
correct.
Like, it's like everyone, like every rating of it is like through the roof. Like
yeah.
I would love to see a sequel.
They gave up on that like 5 years ago.
I know. Do you know what the real shitty part of that is? Is that Nintendo holds the patent for the Sanity system, so they can't even make it unless Nintendo sanctions it. Or if they made it again, it wouldn't have the Sanity system.
Because recently, one of those things was challenged in court. Like someone held the patent for like having mini games during loading screens, and I think that got thrown out. So maybe that's something someone could challenge if they wanted to.
Like, because Nintendo didn't create Sanity or like the idea of losing your sanity.
Well, like it's like the technically speaking, Warner Brothers holds the patent for like the Nemesis system from the
Middle Earth games.
Yeah, and like that's, I mean, I think most people just don't want to deal with it because they don't want to deal with legal battles. I don't know how much of it's actually
legal battle against Nintendo. Like, remember, didn't that guy like mod his like Switch and now he has to pay them for the rest of his life?
Yeah.
Well, he also distributed a lot of things online.
And like they gave him like a lot of warnings, and he basically was like, "Come at me." And
okay, so all I saw was like a headline was this like Nintendo makes man pay for the rest of his life.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because, that is
he
true,
also
though.
was pirating a lot of software.
They are crazy, litigious. Yes.
Oh yeah, they like to keep it all in house.
That's actually apparently Kirby was named after their lawyer in America.
Huh. Fun. Was Bowser also named after Doug Bowser for Nintendo America?
Yeah, actually, but they went back in time for that one because they're like, well, he's going to be a big deal, so we better name one of the more important characters. Like, we're still waiting for the coming of the twin godchildren, Mario and Luigi.
God, that's going to be a great day.
They can rescue our forefathers from the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
How's your Mayan mythology?
I'm a little rusty on it. Personally.
But yeah, like this game actually is much more puzzle focused than most of the Resident Evils, I think. But like in a good way, in the sense that the puzzles in this game like always made sense. Like there weren't any like ones that I felt were like had that stupid logic that Resident Evil games have or some adventure games have. And like it almost reminded me more of like Tomb Raider in like the way the puzzles work. In a lot of ways, it's actually a lot like, I mean, you spend half the game in bloody tombs as well. You like finding like parts to machines and that sort of thing, and like it does have that feeling you get with Resident Evil puzzles where part of the annoying is having to like backtrack and to like go back to somewhere where you have to do something for a puzzle, but the fact that you can kill things without running out of ammo kind of, I think, mitigates that a lot. So the puzzles didn't like drive me nuts.
Yeah, it actually, the puzzle side of that didn't drive me nuts. The backtracking did, for that exact reason, that it felt more like filler at that point. Like there was one that was really good, and I wish more of them had been done this way. And it was during Elia's story. And she's in that, temple underground, and you've got to work these candles into these right-lit positions. And when there's backtracking in it, but when you finally finish the puzzles, it unlocks everything and you can just go right into the next area. And I wish we'd seen so many more of those, because anytime I had to go like deep into something, grab like a staff so I can go all the way back to an area to put it in as a lever like that, and then go back now that the door in that room is open. Fuck. That got tiring.
Yeah, I feel like early on I was fighting the parts for the puzzles before I got to the puzzles.
Yes. Yeah.
So like it wasn't really till like the later levels where I was like, oh crap, I need to go back. It was like, oh, this is what that door handle's for or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like just because it's like this game was separated into chapters, they're all like the backtracking never really got that bad compared to like Resident Evil or something like that, where you're like running around this mansion forever and ever and ever, you know.
That's true. Like I mean, and also technically speaking, you kind of go to some levels twice.
I think you go to everything at least twice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, even though they're the same place, like they're separated by long periods of time, so like they've changed.
Yes.
But you kind of get a good understanding of where things are and all that sort of stuff. Although,
like Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, I was gonna say History of the World, but yeah.
History of the World. I'm not familiar with that one.
Mel Brooks.
Oh, I thought you were talking about there was a video game called The History of the World.
I just completely went off theme into a comedy movie.
Right there, Arvid, you just reminded me of that meme. There was just like that Asian guy with the Pokemon cards, and it just says clitoris. Never heard of that Pokemon? Right there.
What?
I've actually never seen that one, but it still hits.
No, me neither.
I liked it.
Good.
I liked it.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was really cool that as, they were going through different periods of time, I was surprised to actually see like moments that are like big moments, like World War I's in it, the Gulf War like makes an appearance. Like I was very surprised to see where they took the story.
What's interesting about that was, so like one of the last ones you play as a firefighter in the Gulf War, like putting out oil rig fires, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But like the reason why that one was in there is because initially they were gonna do like a Crusader level, but then they thought that wasn't like a good idea post September 11th, so like they did a firefighter in the Gulf instead.
Joseph de Molay was gonna be the Crusader. They cut him from the finished game, although he was playable, I guess, in the demos for it. Which I didn't even know a demo came out, but I'm assuming it was one of those like Nintendo Power copies that came with like the little demo disc. I used to get those occasionally.
Yeah, probably. I miss demo discs. Do a whole thing about demo discs.
I just realized that's probably where they got the demo screen for the Sanity effect, was probably from their own demo.
Yeah, probably.
They have like GameCube demo discs.
Yeah, they had. Yeah, I used to get them in
like
Nintendo Powers. Yeah.
The only like negative thing I will say about this game is the layout of the UI. Aside from like some of the camera angles are dumb, but I mean early 3D is early 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know, 2002 is on the cusp. But like you have like the way you have these three bars, one for magic, like your mana, one's for health, and one's for your sanity, and they're just kind of like on the leftish side of the screen, just kind of higgledy-piggledy, like they're not centered, they're not in a line, they're just kind of there.
Scattered.
Like, I mean, they didn't really, like, on one hand, like, I guess, like, this is a different choice, and you don't want to do something different, but they also didn't feel like they had, like, a purpose for being there, other than, like, it's also kind of in the way. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the nice thing is they only showed up when relevant, too, so they weren't that obtrusive.
I would have preferred maybe it doesn't have to be necessarily like the traditional like top left screen kind of thing, but just something like where it wasn't. I don't know. It reminded me of like when I'm playing World of Warcraft back in the day, and I like screw with my UI and I accidentally leave something in the middle of the screen. I'm like,
you could do that with WoW.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially once you have the right mods.
Yeah. My health and like everything, like all my timers and everything were just like right around the sides of my character, basically.
My stepfather had it reduced to like looking like CAD, basically, with just numbers appearing everywhere.
I never got past Booty Bay.
That's what she said.
What did you guys think of the magic system in this game?
I thought it was
I
really
liked it
good,
a lot.
you know? Like, you don't necessarily know what you're going to do at first until you get your, what do you call them? Templates? Not templates.
Formulas.
We need
Codexes.
Yeah, codex. Yeah.
The codexes, yes.
But apparently you can just kind of mess around with it without knowing and still get the effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I discovered the thing that makes things fly around you spell.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
So basically you get runes as you progress, different runes combine to make different spells. And as you also progress, you get codexes which tell you what runes make what spells, but you can experiment and create spells without knowing what they do, which is fun. I would have liked maybe if the you didn't get all the audio every time you cast a spell, because each of the rune corresponds to like a different magic word, and there are up to like 6, I think, runes you can have in a spell.
Yeah, because you start with the primary that's coming from that ancient. So yeah.
So you end up with just every time you cast a spell, like a ton of gibberish, and late in the game where you're like buffing and healing and whatever, it's just you're just constantly stopping every 30 seconds and spouting off a bunch of nonsense words, which I found annoying.
Yep.
You didn't like the whatever ancient language and like the 45 seconds it takes to cast your little healing spell?
It was fine the first time, but like, God, they do it too often. Although at least the combat pauses when you cast spells.
Does it?
So
I didn't.
You're not.
No, it doesn't.
I thought it kept going.
No, it does when you cast like the healing spell, doesn't it?
No, I was getting like fucking taken to school trying to pop off healing spells.
What? No, wasn't the like when they're doing the bobbity boobity boppity boop?
It doesn't protect you during that at all. You must have just gotten like really lucky with pathing of enemies or something.
Arvid's the kind of nerd to not cast a spell unless he's safe.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually probably how I did it, except for the boss fights.
Yeah. Which started off super easy. Like Charlemagne boss fight, or I guess mini boss, joke.
Yep. Just run around and yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. They get a little harder until you learn the rock, paper, scissors mechanics of like the enchanting.
Well, because like when I first got the repair spell, I guess that's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. I just thought it was like a buff, which it is. So I just kept repeatedly casting it on my sword, and just like you didn't even have to
tear through stuff.
Yeah, you didn't even have to like execute them at the end. It was just like a one hit. They're dunsies. And I went into that first little mini boss, and whoever was Augustus Pius's agent, and just destroyed them. I was like, oh, this game's a joke.
Especially like a lot of them, if the bosses early on, if you can get that like decapitation maneuver, they are very easy. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It was an enjoyable game. I wish this had gotten more attention when it came out, but from my understanding, Resident Evil re-released for the GameCube at like the same time, and it just got overshadowed.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is like I think this name is terrible. Eternal Darklist : like
Whoa.
It's just I can't even remember the name despite I just saying
SANITY'S Requiem.
Like,
oh yeah,
it's a dumb name.
It
sounds.
How dare you? How many times have you defended Castlevania names?
I mean, that's the thing. Those are Castlevania names. If I hear Sonata, whatever, into a thing, I'm like, is it a Castlevania thing? No. But then the other thing is like, it just sounds like spooky buzzwords all mushed together. Like, I think that they could have called this like Fleshcraft, Revenge of Antonius Pius or whatever. I would have.
So I don't want to like get into like spoilers, but like, who was the real villain?
I mean, when the old gods aren't dead, we all lose, right? Like, it's, it's like that. So Lovecraft
like,
thing.
I mean, technically, it's
Mantarok can't do anything.
Although,
if the other gods
not
are fighting,
really, because there is a fifth ancient as well that is above Mantarok. that is only spoken of and hinted of a bit here and there.
They kind of hint at like Mantarok being more manipulative than he actually is, and he's actually like
The corpse
this
god
Cthulhu crap. There is no like good
Exactly.
guy. It's just doom.
Like, everyone is like making, except for obviously the people who read the Tomb of Eternal Darkness.
Yeah, well, I think the people going around defleshing zombies and having them attack you are the bad guys. Those
So
are
you? Oh no.
Well, no,
oh.
like the one.
Yeah, because I
ones
was
where you, like,
thinking about
have
it in the Augustus, the first chapter, in the Augustus one, before any of the ancients are even awoken, the zombies are still there.
Well, also their structures are there.
Their
to begin
structures are
with,
there.
so someone had to build them.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, yes, there's a prequel in the works.
God, that'd be great. I think they could just do so much more with this now. I mean, it would be...
Yeah, but at the same time, like, this kind of game can exist, like, in modern era when you can just, before the game even comes out, there's, like, 18 theories online. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big part of it, too. I mean, also, like, I mean, the thing about Cthulhu stuff is that it never has to make sense. It never has to be, because you'd be like, non-Euclidean time geometry, and you're just like, oh, okay, that's why that works that way. So, like, I don't know how you could really spoil it, I guess, because there is no, like, coherent cause and effect for a lot of things when you deal with these sorts of storylines. But at the same time, like, I think A, the Lovecraft thing's very overblown now. B, we want different things out of horror games than we used to want. And C, like, the way they, like, this game, like I said, isn't really that scary. It just kind of
spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky vibe.
And there aren't a lot of, like, just spooky games. Like, things are horror games, or they're
Well, there's
not.
the Jack Skellington episode of Kingdom Hearts chapter. Ooh.
Yeah. That game, which is almost 20 years old, is very
It is
modern.
2003, right?
Oh, God.
Yeah. No, it is 20 years old, right? Anyway, but one thing I think that this game actually did first is the way it depicts, like, the old gods, ancients, whatever you want to call them. Definitely, like, after, aside from Cthulhu, most of them didn't really have, like, artistic depictions you'd see places. Cthulhu had, like, the tentacle face and the wings, but
That's
about
not
it.
even described in the literature.
No, that's from a sketch that Lovecraft made once. But, like, I think this kind of solidified a lot of the like, visual language of old gods, like the way Mantarok is like a festering pit
teeth
of
and eyes,
eyeballs. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's just the top of them. That's the best version of a god, is, like, if you're going to do one of these, is when you can only see a small portion of them, because they're meant to be unknowable. And that's where I got a little bit of beef with all the others, is the full depictions of them. Like, oh, now I'm basically just watching, like, Power Rangers cutscenes.
Yeah, but my point is that, like, everything after this, when they want to do Lovecraft depiction of Lovecraftian gods, this is the template they're using.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's pretty cool to kind of, maybe this isn't the first one. Maybe someone else did it before this. But
Oh, I'm sure there's some DDoS game.
yeah,
Great.
I mean, maybe. But even then, you didn't really have, like, that would be very complicated to try and do with, like, 16-bit graphics. So, like, that's impressive. Certainly the World of Warcraft ancient gods stole all their steez from this.
It's, yeah. I mean, you're right. I'm surprised of how much of the mechanics and visual language of this have kept finding new life in, different games that have come out after.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot like when we played Anachronox.
I was
where,
just
like,
about to say that.
I was thinking about
Like-
that game as I was playing this.
Yeah, like, it's like no one played this at the time, but you can see, like, it, like, laying the blueprints for so much stuff that came after
It's
it.
like the like the Faith No More video games. Like all the people
I actually don't know those ones.
all the people that came after them, they all, like, respect and love the band, but they died. Not died, but, like, they just never.
Oh, you mean, okay, I thought you said there was a video game
Oh,
called
no.
Faith No More. I'm sorry, my brain just is not used to switching out of media forms
Oh,
today, apparently.
Speaking of another video game, though, I guess not speaking of one, but alluding to. Last episode, I mentioned a video game that I thought was a John Woo video game, where you do, like, a lot of kicking with the joystick. I did finally find it. It's a Jet Li video game. Jet Li, Rise to Honor.
Okay.
So just putting that out
remember
there.
that.
Yeah.
Whatever
very
happened
fun.
to Jet Li? Like,
I have no clue. I mean,
like he was huge. Like he
the
was
last
like
I saw
everything for a
was
while.
the one. So maybe that was just
a
real.
very long.
His soul left his body and went into Tony Jaa's body, and now he doesn't have to do anything anymore.
Wait, his
could be.
soul went into a body from the past.
Wait, Tony Jaa came after
Yes.
Jet Li, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Probably.
definitely.
Well, Tony Jaa is based off like an old martial arts. An old.
No, but Tony Jaa's like a young guy. He's younger than Jet Li, isn't he?
Pretty sure.
I thought he was like. Someone please Google it.
Are we
I will find.
Are we thinking of
how old
Akimbo
is Tony
Slice?
Jaa. Tony Jaa was born in 76.
Oh shit! So
Jet Li was born in 63. So, yeah. Jet Li is 10 years older than Tony Jaa, give or take.
Oh, well, this is going to get really interesting. My Chrome has decided to freeze completely. Everything else is running just fine right now. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Why don't we take this opportunity to take a break? We'll stop recording. You can fix your thing, and then we can come back and keep recording after that.
Do
So that way
the
this-
quiz and whatnot.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Who's ready for a quiz?
I'm going straight to the quiz.
Oh.
Oh, do we want to do news first? We can do news first if you want to do the news.
I got no news.
Do you like my setup, Mike?
Fuck yeah, I do. That's good. That's solid. Sounds good.
For the viewers at home, Mike, Nick,
Fuck
hell.
you.
You doing
Marcus,
okay?
My rate is going up.
Marcus has mounted his microphone in a woodworking vise, which he has attached to his desk.
Smart.
I mean, granted, I couldn't find dew earlier today, so.
Yeah. Touche. We're even now. I don't have any. There's no fun news really. I don't know. Nothing
Nothing good
really to
going
talk
on in
about.
the video game world?
I mean, there is, but I don't know.
I do
Not
have
really.
a little bit of news. It's not video game news, but it is the continuation of the haunted projector story.
Oh yes,
Your porno projector.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, God,
Well,
I
obviously, it was
wish it
gonna
was.
it would flash images of guys doing fun stuff
it
and then
just shows
shock you.
Brokeback Mountain.
I think it literally was just showing images of a man, and then you would get shocked when you
It
saw
was just
the
like
man.
those pictures you see at like the hairdressers of different like haircuts. Just
Yeah.
like a lot.
Pretty much. No, I finally got it working, and
It's just
so
a Sears
it's got-
underwear catalog.
It's the gayest thing we could find. An LL Bean catalog.
I'm gonna say put the buck in Roebuck. So the viewing screen on it, I got that aligned and working, and started watching the film on it. And I was really scared at first because it was like an old timey man's voice, and I had to turn it up, and I got it all into focus. And then it was like, let me tell you about the brand new fun material we're going to be using, solarcrete. Yes, concrete, but now dried by the power of the sun. I was like, right, great, this is fantastic. And that's all it was. It was like a 10-minute video on solarcrete.
It was like a salesman's pitch.
Yeah.
Going door to door.
Maybe it was meant to like prevent people from being sexually aroused by cement.
Oh, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm really happy to see it's not like obviously
Male
haunted.
erotica.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy
haunted
about
erotica.
When you
that.
play it backwards, it
Oh shit, I do need to try that next. No, but I think I'm gonna get really into Super 8. Like, get weird about that. Go get myself a camera and try to do some recording.
That is a expensive habit.
Yeah. No, I'm already realizing as I look into it. Yeah,
that was one of those things that everyone got into. The pandemic was like real film stuff, and now like, oh my god, like OG.
It was expensive before, like in general.
I'm gonna have to get a second projector though, because this projector is very specific. It is a repeater projector, so it's like a very specific way. They've got like an early cassette for the Super 8 film to run into that will just constantly keep playing it back on loop on itself over and over continuously. So like it rewinds itself as it's playing and can just seamlessly start back over, which is
sure it's Super 8 film.
It is. It's a very specific type of from Videotronic Super 8 repeating projector. So
might be good for parties.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah. I saw a lot of people online being like, I'm holding like this event and I need this film to play for like 5 hours on loop. And they're like, oh, it'll be destroyed by the end of those 5 hours. You're going to need backups and shit.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
8mm, that's a great movie.
Yep. Super 8. Super 8's a good one.
I did not care for that.
8 Mile, also good.
Have any of you guys seen Blowout?
No, I don't know that movie. I just had a blowout, but I don't know the movie.
Are we talking about the Jeep?
No. Not talking about the Jeep.
About his Jeep.
The Thunder Down
Grand
Under.
Cherokee.
That's right.
So it's John Travolta, and the director is super fucking famous.
Are you talking about Blowfish? Or no, Swordfish?
No, Blowout.
Talking about Face Off?
Blowfish is the...
It's Brian De Palma.
Oh, Brian De Palma. Right,
Yeah,
of course.
and like the whole thing is John Travolta is like this, like he's a sound guy, and he's out late one night trying to get sounds, and like he gets like footage of a blowout that's like a political assassination.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's really good.
Kind of cool.
I've not seen that movie. I've seen like 2 Brian De Palma movies.
Phone Booth.
No, well, oh god, I've seen 3 Brian De Palma movies.
Wait, this is Phone Booth?
I don't know. I really did not like Phone Booth. And the other one I saw that was his that I didn't like was the Black Dahlia murders, and then also Scarface. So I might not like Brian De Palma. I don't know.
Oh, it did the first Mission Impossible.
Oh, that's
I did like that. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready for the quiz?
Quiz.
Quiz time. Okay, so you guys are going to take turns. I am going to give you a name of an ancient old god or ancient thingy, and you have to tell me if it is an actual Lovecraft god, something made up for Eternal Darkness, or something made up for World of Warcraft.
Oh God. Okay.
So. Now, in order for it to count for Lovecraft, I'm only using ones that Lovecraft did himself. Now, there were some ones that came out while Lovecraft were alive, but he didn't write them. Mm-hmm. So I'm not counting those ones. Those are not on this list at all.
So Lovecraft, Warcraft, or Eternal Craft.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like this. This is like too hard. This is like AP level.
How's your sanity meter doing here?
Oh, it's dunsies.
Oh shit.
All right. Marcus, you're up first.
Oh, I'm gonna be
Yogg Saron.
That's HP.
I can spell it for you if you'd like.
No, that's WoW.
Yep, that's 1 point for Marcus. That
Otherwise,
is World
you're
of Warcraft.
thinking Yogg Sothoth.
Yes. All right, Mike. Next one's for you. Azathoth.
That's also World of Warcraft.
No, that's an actual Lovecraft.
Really? Shit.
Not to be confused with Azeroth, the setting of World of Warcraft.
No, I know fucking Azeroth.
Okay.
All right.
All right, back to you, Marcus.
I know I'm scared.
Mantarok.
After. No. Is it based off an actual H.P. Lovecraft monster?
Could be. It's all public domain. They were free to use any of it if they wanted.
Yeah, that's what's getting me on that. Is like they're...
Why are you whispering?
I don't know, because I'm thinking. It's like when you turn down the radio when you're trying to find a parking spot.
That is too real.
I'm gonna go with C. None of the above.
C. No, it is created for Eternal Darkness.
Oh, so I was right.
Okay.
Is that what C is?
Well, C was not Lovecraft, not WoW.
Oh, okay. I thought you said. No, C is made for Eternal Darkness.
Oh.
So it's either Lovecraft, Warcraft, or Eternal Darkness.
Yes, I went for C. Well, I went for not Lovecraft, not WoW.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that one conditionally.
All right, 1.5.
All right.
1.5.
Yeah, that one will only count in the case of a tie. All right, Mike, Cthulhu.
Come on, Mike gets Cthulhu.
That's Lovecraft.
Yeah, that's one of the originals.
Yeah. The Call of Cthulhu.
Yes. Dagon. Marcus.
Oh man. That's not Eternal Darkness. I didn't play WoW like y'all, so I don't know. I know it's not an Eternal Darkness. I didn't play WoW like you guys played WoW, so... But it definitely... I'm going Lovecraft.
Correct. Although I will point out that Dagon exists as a Mesopotamian deity before Lovecraft did, but in this context, he created the.
Wait, so there's a secret D to this?
No, it's not D. You got the answer right, but I'm saying that if you had called me out on it and be like, but actually, the temple to Dagon was built in Syria in the 13th century, I would have been like, okay.
Mesopotamian god, also public domain.
All right. Mike, back to you.
Yes. Hi.
So Marcus has 2 points. You have 0 points.
2.5.
With that?
2.5.
That sounds right. That is my track record. Yes.
No, you got Cthulhu right. So
I did get Cthulhu. Okay. Yeah.
That one counts as like
easy. Yeah, it really should.
All right. Problem is both your names start with M.
Oh fuck.
So.
You just have two M's.
Just M versus M.
Mm-hmm. Just put M-I or M-A.
Yes, there we go.
There you go.
I need to keep some paper around.
Hey, and all M-I is in M-I. Whoa.
Ulouth?
Oh, really?
Uliouth?
Also Lovecraft. This is a Lovecraft. The mere fact that you're having difficulty with it is Lovecraft.
You would think, but this is actually an Eternal Darkness one.
Bro.
Oh, God, you're right, it is. The fuck is my problem?
Did I get the steal? Did I get the steal on that?
Yes. I'll count it.
All right, Marcus, you can have that one, sure. Okay.
I want to earn them.
All right.
That's
Mike.
That's the
Marcus.
Crab god, right?
No, he's more of a jellyfish.
Yeah,
that's the jellyfish.
Metroid.
That's right.
The Metroid.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Marcus. Cthulhu. Is that Warcraft, Lovecraft, or Eternal Darkness craft?
Cthulhu. It's not Lovecraft. Oh, man, I'm racking the brain right now. I really am. I'm sorry, it's like boring for podcasts. It's a thing.
Like I said, silence is easier to edit out than anything else.
I'm thinking Eternal Darkness, but I'm thinking I'm mispronouncing one name in my head. But I'm gonna wing it and say Eternal Darkness. But it's
incorrect.
WoW.
That's World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I knew it.
What was it, like a Draenor?
No, he's the one from Anchorage, the big raid in the desert with the bug people.
Anchorage?
Anchorage.
Anchorage, Alaska.
Anchorage, Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, all the sand.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike. Shub Niggurath.
Can you say that on air?
I won't make you repeat it. That could be Warcraft. I'm not familiar with a Lovecraft ancient by that name, but I also don't know all of the pantheon of Lovecraft. I'm gonna go Warcraft on that one.
That was Lovecraft.
Ah, fuck.
Also known as the All-Mother and the Black Goat of the Woods.
What story
All right.
was that one from?
She was introduced in The Whisperer in the Darkness.
Yeah,
It's called a
check
fart.
it out. Yes.
Okay. All right. Marcus. Zelotath.
Wow.
Incorrect. That is Eternal
Son of a
Darkness.
bitch.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I even mentioned earlier, Zelotath is my true deity.
Is it Toth?
Oh, you
Not
spell
Tath?
it with an X.
Zealot?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's XEL-Lotath.
Lotath.
Well, it's TATH. It could be. I don't know. I don't know what the fucking pronunciation
I don't
guy
know.
is for ancient speak.
Toth just sounds more intimidating than Tath.
Yeah. All right. Mike now, right? Yes.
Jesus, Arvid, your sanity is low.
Hey, man, I'm trying. I'm trying.
Oh man, we got that 2 o'clock fucking crash.
It's 4:00 now. We've been at this for hours.
I'm just glad you didn't get your head cut off at
is
3:33.
It is 4:03 in Sweden.
No, it's not. It's 3:03.
What time is it there?
10:03.
Plus 6 is.
We haven't done it yet. We haven't fallen
It
back.
doesn't matter. It's always been 6 hours.
No,
It's
This
6
is
hours all the
this is
time.
so confusing.
it is. But
Wait.
right now we're an hour forward.
It's 6 hours
No,
all
we
the
haven't
time?
fallen back either. It's always been 6
This
hours.
is so confusing. This is why we all need to stop doing this.
It is for in 1 week when you guys, because you guys do it before us. It is 5 hours for that 1 week. Otherwise, it's always 6 hours.
I know it's backwards, but my watch is telling me it's 3:04 for you.
Okay,
That you're just showing us a watch that says 3:04.
you are showing me a budget digital watch.
It's not a budget. That is a Casio G-Shock.
It
It's a world
sounds
timer.
like you set it for the wrong time, or you set it in that one weird week period and never changed it.
No, I can't set the Sweden time. It just gets the Sweden time. It literally every
From
day
the
gets
internet?
No, from a radio signal.
Okay,
From,
well,
like-
the radio signal's wrong. It
Interesting.
is. I'm looking at a clock right now. It is 4:04 p.m.
I don't know. His watch has a radio signal telling him it's 3:04. So now I'm kind of on his
Arvid
side.
is the man out of time. Arvid is a Lovecraftian creature.
Future man.
All right.
Have we ever seen the bottom half of Arvid?
No. He's been a talking
Neither have
head
I,
for the last
but-
10 years.
That's not true. I drove your ass to Michigan.
Exactly. You were sitting down. Also, I was never in the car with you.
Whoa.
That's true because you can't not smoke for 5 minutes. Or at least you couldn't then.
Well, no, I wasn't allowed to not be in the car. I was, because of...
You were in the smoking car with Jake. That is why you were with Jake the entire
I didn't
time.
want to be there, but it was just like...
I know you didn't want to be there. You told us constantly.
But it was just like, if I wasn't, then it would just have been Jake and Tony in that car.
Now there was a time where it was Nick in there, and we hadn't you in. There was a time where we switched you and Nick out.
No.
Yeah, there was a bit.
Not that I recall.
Wow, there's a lot about that week we didn't. I don't recall.
Sorry for bringing so much weed. Oh.
Yes. Mike.
Yes.
Zoth.
Zath, Zappa, Zath. Zelata now. All right.
That's pretty good.
Lovecraft.
That's World of Warcraft.
Ah.
Oh, wow.
All right, Marcus, you ready?
Yes.
Nyarlathotep.
Man.
Do you want me to spell it for you?
I don't think the spelling would do any help.
It might actually help a little bit.
I'm going to guess wow on that. But
That is Lovecraft.
Lovecraft.
Yeah. It's one of the earlier ones.
He's an elder god.
Hmm?
He's an
It's
elder.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. Also the most racist one.
I mean, H.P. Lovecraft?
True.
You ready, Mike? Right? Yes.
Yep, always has been.
All right. Chaturga.
Chaturga. That's going to be Eternal Darkness.
That's correct.
Wow, that's my crab monster. That's the crab monster I was thinking of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tied it up.
Yeah.
Okay. The Owen Wilson thing, not wicked old at all.
Wicked old. Oh, wow.
All right.
Ooh.
Ooh, old memes.
Scary.
Spooky because they're elder.
It's true. It's an elder meme.
It's an elder meme, but it checks out.
I do want to see that unknowable horror. The elder meme. Fuck.
All right, Marcus. E-Charge. E-Charge, apparently.
So
Yasharaj.
all right, since it's unpronounceable to Arvid, it's definitely H.P. Lovecraft.
It's actually Warcraft.
What the fuck? God damn it. They stole so much.
I just never heard anyone say it.
And who were they in Warcraft, Arvid?
They're in the old god for the panda people.
Oh, Miss of
area.
Pandora, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I told you, I never got past Booty Bay, bro. I'll just get drunk and fish all day.
That one was probably my favorite expansion because they went, what if we just made other games and put them in World of Warcraft? So you had your fun farming simulator, and then you had like a Pokemon battle pet system. And that's when I just stopped playing Warcraft, like traditional Warcraft, and just started playing those little mini games. Great time.
Indeed. All right. Last one. This one's to Mike. If you can get this right,
Was it for the win?
game. It
Whoa.
is. If you lose, Marcus wins.
Whoa, high stakes.
Hastur.
Do Hastur. Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that was not the...
No, that's Sam.
Was that the Sims music?
No, I was trying to do the Final Jeopardy, but that was so wrong.
Just did the building music on the thing. Sims.
Dun, 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 dun.
World of Warcraft.
Incorrect. That's
Fuck.
Lovecraft.
Fuck.
Also known as the King in Yellow.
Fuck.
Which he
God damn
stole
it.
from The King in Yellow, a short story by Robert W. Chambers.
Yeah, and if you've never seen True Detective, it's all about the Yellow King, Arvid.
No, I haven't seen that.
I know.
Come on, man. You give me like all these recommendations. I can see like
And
one a
it
year.
takes you like 5 years.
Man, it takes a lot of things to watch stuff. I don't know.
Time.
All right.
The things
Marcus,
you're referring
you're
to
the
as
winner.
time.
I don't have that. I mean, I have time. It's the attention span. That's the problem.
Ah. Good job, Marcus.
Oh, True Detective will hold your attention 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it's real good.
that's what I've heard that said about a lot of things. It's not the fault of the media. It's the fault of the
Arvid.
yeah.
That tracks.
All right. So that was the quiz, and we did the news
Hell
already.
yeah.
So I guess it's time for what have you been playing this week?
What have you been playing, Marcus?
Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. But
Nice.
I've been real busy.
I haven't
so
heard about that one. Tell me
I
about it.
haven't had time for anything else. Oh, it's a farming simulator, surprisingly. Well, yeah, no, I haven't had time for much else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get that. I was kind of in the same boat. Work schedule's been picking up a lot this week, and I did carve out a little bit of time, though, on the Switch. Picked up the new Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And
saw
I've
that.
been playing that. Yeah, it's very fun. Very enjoyable. Plays a lot like Super Mario World or any of those. They brought back a lot of
These
mechanics
are
from
the 2D ones.
the 2D platforming side scroller one. Yep.
It's a new Mario game that just came out.
Yeah, it just came out this week. This week? Yeah. It's I'm enjoying it a lot. It's been a long time since I've played like just a good old traditional platformer. And yeah.
Did you play like the whatever the ones were called, like the Wii U Switch thingy?
Oh yeah. The new Super Mario Brothers or whatever they called it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, I played those too. Those ones I didn't enjoy as much. I didn't like the way they did the co-op mode for it. And I haven't done co-op for this, but they had this system in the other one where you could like hit your ally and then grab them, pick them up, and like throw them off a ledge or something if you wanted. And I didn't enjoy that.
So you're telling me that Nintendo improperly implemented a online feature in one of its games?
I know it's weird. They usually are so perfect with that, with having to still in this day and age just make a phone call if you want to play co-op with someone and talk to each other. Fuck.
Well, they don't want to waste resources.
Yeah,
you got a phone for that.
Yep. Why do we need to design this system? You have a better one. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
To that point, I see what they're doing. It's fine. Yeah, I like the new power-ups that you get so far in it. So you're in the Flower Kingdom this time, and they're really leaning into the silliness of the whole story. So
yeah, this has got like talking flowers in it and stuff, right?
Talking flowers, and although I don't love the talking flower that comes with you and follows you everywhere in the game, because there are a lot of quips that come with that flower. It's a very quippy flower. Not a fan of that. I did see an article that someone had modded it already to have the flower just become insanely vulgar. And that was fun, but Nintendo immediately got their lawyers on it and shut that shit down. Real fucking bummer. But no, it just starts out a weird way with Bowser becoming the castle and then flying off as the castle, and then that weirdness just keeps going the entire game. You'll eat like this special flower, and then you literally will like trip, and everything will start to move in weird ways, and like all of the pipes are all of a sudden alive and like dancing, and I don't know, it's very odd. It's the most fever dreamed Mario game so far, but it's super fun.
It looks interesting.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite power-up right now is the Bubble Mario. You get this like a little soap bubble power that you can shoot out, kind of like the old Mega Man power-up. And it just encases your enemies. And it's like a one-hit kill on everything. Really nice.
Interesting.
And you can bounce off them for platforming.
I not to like disparage either of these series, but I do kind of feel like as Mario gets more and more like power-ups that are part of the gameplay, it starts to like lose its definition, and it kind of just becomes more like Kirby. Like I feel like Mario's always been like the Mario's always been like the accurate, acute, like platforming and that sort of thing. Like that's what defines Mario, is like this fluid, quick movement. And I don't know, as it becomes like, I don't want to say easier or whatever, but like as Mario becomes something that like they want to market towards everyone, like it just kind of becomes a Kirby game.
It becomes diluted and like loses its initial Mario-ness.
Well, I think it still has a personality. It's just not the same one it used to have.
See, I don't know about that, because Mario Brothers 3 is probably my favorite, and there's a lot of transformation power-ups in Mario Brothers 3. I mean, for the time, there's the hammer one, there's the frog suit, there's the, what is that? Not Tabuki. What's the... Tanuki, yeah. Which was my favorite, but, yeah. I don't know. I think the power-ups are kind of core to Mario.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have any power-ups. I just mean the number of them. And their situationalness. but I don't know. I could be talking out my ass.
I don't know. They've done a good job so far of trying to keep the power-ups on theme for the worlds and stages. You know, like
Right.
if you plan it right, you can bring a power-up into a place where like you wouldn't normally find it. But...
Normally, you get like reset when you change levels.
Yeah,
And that,
but
no, you didn't.
I think it depends.
Depends on the one. Mario Brothers 3, you had like an inventory as well.
Yeah.
But they've kind of done away with that in this and replaced the inventory with these like medallion power-ups that you can use. You can equip one at a time and it changes it where like instead of Mario being able to do like a wall hop like diagonally to start to climb up and parkour, it instead does like a straight up like version. So you can kind of get this pseudo double jump ability and let you get to different areas. And I don't know, a lot of different ways you can change Mario just by equipping a different power medallion.
Mario, as my New York side of the family says.
Mario. Yep.
Super Mario.
There's that.
Mario. Luigi Mario. I don't know why I said Luigi.
I don't know. I don't even think that's how they'd say it.
So did they say
Wario?
Wario though?
Wario.
I don't know. I've never heard them say Wario before. I don't know. Do they know? It's a little too evil for them up there. A little too spooky. Ooh.
He has a mustache. He's more ethnic than Mario.
I just wanna hear them say Waluigi.
Waluigi.
That's it. That's how they say it.
Remove
Wait,
syllables, but
Arvid, which ancient god is that?
it's too short.
Oh, there's
Well-
like 18 apostrophes in it.
I was gonna say, and like a bunch of unpronounced X's.
Silent letters you cannot pronounce.
Yeah. Euclidean alphabet. Non-Euclidean alphabet. Non-Euclidean. Yes.
Non-Euclidean alphabet. Which one?
Non-Euclidean cyclopean.
Hyperbolic or elliptic?
Oh
That
god.
too.
Well, those are the two non-Euclidean geometries.
Hyperbolic, I would imagine.
So the right angles are greater than 90 degrees.
All right, moving on.
Yes.
That's okay. Marcus. Oh, it's my turn.
Yes.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing the new City Skylines.
The one that they had to send out the warning about?
Yeah.
Lower your expectations?
It does not. I mean, it runs okay on my computer with the settings I've got. I can get 30 frames per second, which is what they say they're aiming for, which I can understand to a certain extent. It like I didn't play a lot of City Skylines toward the end of its lifespan. When, like, I played it a lot maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I modded it a lot, but I never really got to like the point where people were like had these huge sprawling cities and stuff like that, because my computer could never handle that. And a big part of that was due to like CPU like bottlenecks and that sort of thing. Like the processor was a problem. And so from what they say, they are focusing more on making sure things are using the game is using the processing power available to it as efficiently as possible, and they are limiting the amount of work they're going to put into keeping the the actual graphics end of the frame rate to like the 60 frames per second, which I understand. You don't need it to be all that good. And you know, the bottlenecks always were your processor, not your graphics card. But and as far and all that reasoning makes a lot of sense to me, and I appreciate the way they're doing that and looking at like the end game user who's been playing this for a long time. But if that was the case, why did they include all this like depth of field, motion blur, horse shit that literally no one ever wants in their games?
Yeah, that's like the first thing I turn off. We've talked about this before. Like, we don't do motion blur.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, I'm enjoying it. I'm playing it. I've been, I look forward to the late game. Like, we know when we have a lot of expansion packs and mods and stuff like that. I can build the giant cities that they kind of that is the fun part of this. But right now it kind of just feels like going back to base game City Skylines, but with a few extra things, which is good. It's a bit more intuitive than that. I think that it's a great improvement over the original City Skylines, just the base game. Like there's more in it. There's more you can do. The like controls and layout and mechanics are much more intuitive, but it also still feels like you're playing a base game or something. Like a similar thing was when Paradox released Crusader Kings 3 after having Crusader Kings 2 out for forever and all of the DLC that came with that. Going to 3 from 2, you definitely felt like there was stuff that wasn't there because all the DLC was gone, but it still felt like you were getting way more stuff than 2, and City Skylines 2 feels, I don't want to say less than that. I mean, it does feel like less than that, but it feels like it could also have just been like a new coat of paint in some ways. I think that if I went back and played it, I would probably notice a lot more differences, but right now it's like very familiar. It's like it was to begin with. So, but still very addictive. I love a city builder, and I will undoubtedly keep playing it.
Okay. I mean, I was kind of waiting for. I knew you were going to play it at some point here. I didn't know how soon you were going to grab it, but I was waiting to grab it until I heard your feedback on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you liked the regular Crusader Kings City Skylines, and you had fun with that, then it's worth playing. Like just the graphical improvements and UI and stuff like that. But if you feel like you could wait on that, then you can wait on that. I think that's also fair. I mean, mostly I'm looking forward. Like a lot of the YouTube creators that I watch who fuck around with City Skylines, I look forward to seeing what they will do with this.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoy playing it, frankly. Eddie Hoozles. Yeah. Fun game.
It was a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have you on next time, Marcus?
What's next time?
Are you gonna be available next week?
I haven't started the game. So.
Snar.
Oh, you guys doing that?
Chance of Sonar.
No. Well, we can push it off.
Yeah. Is that?
We should say goodbye first before we do all this. So, goodbye.
What you're supposed to say? I've been.
I already did that, though. I said I was, and I am.
And that you can reach us at...
Oh, right, yeah. All the fucking... Oh, God. Yeah, thanks for listening to the podcast. Like it, and then subscribe to it, and then also comment on it, and leave us a review.
Do that.
And then also email us at thesavestatepodcast@gmail.com, or communicate with us at thesavestatepod, but not without the cast, on most social medias.
Podcast minus cast.
Yes. That's it, I think.
I've been Marcus.
I've been Arvid. Fuck. God damn it.
No.
Shit.
You have to actually do it right sometimes for when you do it wrong to be funny.
No, he edited it out of the last one. He edited out where I was Mike.
I did that because he also...
Oh, it got too confusing. You're like, who am I?
Yeah, I got too confused. I was like, wait, I'm not Mike.
I'm Mike.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Ooh.
Anyway. So the fun thing about me editing this is I say anyway really loud to know when I can stop editing out a thing.
Leave out the. This is why you're not getting the views.
He does police our speech pretty good.
All right, Hitler.
Because I've said some wild shit on here before.
Well, you know.
Well, that's
like
for the Patreon members. They get to see.
Yeah. No, not even for that one. Like, I definitely one time panicked, like texted Arby, be like, "Hey, that whole thing, just don't put that in."